Hey everybody, I do not own the rights to this music that you're hearing, so I want to make that clear. I do not own the rights to it. But I wanted to start off my lab with this and everything, because this is my song. To the sun. So I'm going to be discussing submission. Danja D asked me to get into that a little bit, and I want to touch on being submissive when it comes to your husband. Okay, so just bear with me for a moment. In the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can, what I can, what I can for my people. With a close where I can feel the night. Why I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home. For across the river, can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Wanna keep on. I love this song, y'all. Feeling in my bones. Okay, so check this out. Submission. It is not what you think it is. When you submit it to your spouse, it's when you first of all you have to know the spouse that you're married to. If you're with a dogmatic man, because I'm talking to the women right now, but me, listen. If you're with a dogmatic man that everything is his way, being submitted to him is going to be very, very hard. I just so happen to be blessed, and I look at it like that, to be blessed to have a husband who values my opinion, is not dogmatic. He doesn't have to show how much he's a man, and he loves Christ. That's all pluses, okay? So it makes me submitting to him um, no big deal because I trust his leadership. I know that when it's all said and done, he has what's best for us in mind. Submitting means that whenever it comes down to it, the final say is from your husband. So, say we have money and we have a bill that's due. Say we have two bills that's due, okay? Um, and I suggest let's pay cable. And my husband's like, yeah, but we also have water due. And I say, well, cable's every 30 days, water's every 60 days. So we still have an extra time to pay this bill. So if he say, well, I think the best thing for us to do is just go ahead and pay the water, even though we have an extra month. He has the final say so. It's his what he say is final. That is one way of being submitted up under your headship, which is also supposed to be your leadership. Okay, um, that's the best way that I can say it. He is your mate is supposed to have the final say and whatever. Now, if he tells you, baby, I don't care, you make the decision and I stand by whatever you say, then that's different. A lot of times, women feel like they have no voice in a relationship, either marriage, once they submit, once they say they submitted, because they, can't no man tell me what to do, can't no man do this, can't no man do that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of people let me just stick with what I'm saying. That's why a lot of women are single or have lost a good man because they don't know how to tone it back. Okay, case in point. Today, believe it or not, is my 11th year pastoral anniversary. 11 years ago today, I became a pastor. And the reason why I'm not in a building right now is for the simple fact that the building we were using, they did a renovation. And when they did the renovation, they didn't allow anybody back in the building. And so uh, we went through different things, and I went through a lot. And during this process, I felt in my spirit the Lord wanted me to rest because of what's coming now. Like now is the time that it's time for me to get into a building again if necessary. But I never lost my people. The people that were still under me is still under me. Um, and the people that's under me are people who are rejects. What I mean by that is they wouldn't fit into a normal quote unquote church because they admit that they've had a life outside of church. And that's what drew them to me is the fact that I was not ashamed to tell what I've been through, what I went through, what I've done. And I showed them that if it had not been for God bringing me out of this thing, then I would still be, in it today. So, I always tell people you need believable heroes. You need people that had a checker pass to see where God brings them from. So I really don't argue religion with nobody. There's a lot of people on YouTube that down, your belief and um, they down, pastors and all this and stuff. And I hear it and I just shake my head because I'm like, sometimes people are unlearned. I'm not going to call them ignorant, but sometimes people are unlearned. And you let them, you can't change people. If God don't change them, who am I? I ain't gonna stress myself out. And I'm at a point, I don't care if you believe who I am or not. I know who I am. More to the point, God knows me in his gates, okay? So, I can honestly say I believe whenever my number come up, I'm not gonna have any gate problems. So, me being submitted up under my husband, that didn't come overnight. I ain't gonna sit here and act like it did. Y'all know me too well. It didn't because again, I was a strong, independent woman doing my thing. So when the Lord brought me to my husband and it was time to do that, it was like, yeah, it was a battle. It was a battle, and it was more because of me because I was so used to being the head. And now you mean to tell me I can't just make the decision? I can't, say this is going to happen and it happened because for a long time, if I can just be transparent, a long time when me and my husband got married, for a long time I used to say my this, my that, and he used to say R, and I'll be looking at him like what? He used to say R, like O-R, I mean O-U-R. I'm like, what about it? He said because baby, you keep saying mine. We married. It's R. So I used to, yeah, and it used to just make him mad. And then he started understanding that, well, shoot, for a long time, she did it for herself. So I'm going to have to, understand it. And then I started realizing that I was hurting him every time I said that. And that was not my desire to tear my house apart. So the more I got into the word, and the more, and I told him, you just going to have to, be with me for a minute you know, because I've been doing this for a long time, and all this and stuff. So he was understanding regarding that, and God worked it out because we both wanted the best for our marriage and our household. So we gave it to the man upstairs, and he worked that thing out. So. There's still sometimes when I really believe something, I let him know. Now, look, I know you said this, but that don't make no sense, babe. I'm not trying to be funny, but look at this. And he'll finally say, you know what? Okay, go ahead. I got you. Go ahead. And so, you know, that's the thing. But I have to trust who I said yes to, whose last name that I took in order to do what I got to do. You know, um, he picked me. He gave me his last name, so it's something that he saw in me that was an extension of who he was. So he loves me. I love him. He's gonna make sure that he takes care of his rib because that's what I am. Um, so when it's like that, it's not hard to submit. Now, I will say this. What I had to do is find my own independent relationship with the man upstairs. I had to get in my word. I had to pray. I had to seek godly counsel from wise women, women who have been married for a while, who exhibit what I saw that Christ was like in a marriage, that didn't mind sharing their stories, things like that. Wisdom, speaking wisdom, because a wise woman builds her house, but a foolish woman tears it down with her hands. And some Bible translations say she tears it down brick by brick. And you know how stressful that is to sit and pull a brick by brick to tear a house down? That takes a while. It takes dedication and it's work. So just think if you flip that and you put the bricks back, you put them back to build the house instead of tearing it down. It takes dedication. It takes focus. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Because you have to know where to put the bricks. When you turn it down, you don't have to focus on it. You just pull a brick. But when you're building, everything has to be in sync. So submission is not a dirty word. Submissive, it's not a dirty word, even though a lot of wives don't like that word. They hate when you talk about submitting under leadership, or submitting up under your husband, but God watches our heart. And I've learned, and this is just me, I've learned that when my husband is walking contrary to what I feel, you know, case in point, like I felt like I was being neglected once upon a time by the way he was working. After I told him and I felt like he didn't listen, I told God because he's the head of our family. And I'm just as important to God as my husband is. And so I know God honors our marriage. And as long as he honors what we're doing, he'll make sure that we stay in line and everything. So, you can't change your husband, but you can change you. So I always try to work on myself. I tell y'all that all the time. I try to be my first student and work on myself. And then once I work on myself, as I'm working on myself and I stand in faith believing that God is going to work everything else out, he does. So um, I'm just saying, you just make sure that, how can I say this? Because it says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtain favor from the Lord. So you make sure you're his good thing because a man has to be able to trust you. Your husband has to be able to trust you. Samson thought he could trust Delilah, and he told Delilah where his strength lies. And when he woke up to try to shake his locks from her lap, he shook his head and nothing moved because Delilah betrayed him and cut his locks off, which gave him strength. So you don't want to be Delilah in your marriage. You want to be the woman of God that he gave to the man to make him better. Okay? You can't be his mother, and I would advise against that. Stop trying to be your man's mother. Your husband's mother. And the reason why I keep saying husband, because I don't believe in giving, and this is my beliefs, okay? My platform, my YouTube channel, my belief. I don't believe in giving somebody you're dating the same privileges that you do somebody you're married to. What makes them want to do anything different if you just gonna keep dating? And he's getting all the perks already. You cook all his meals, you keep all his clothes washed. He knows your every move. Uh, everything. You already playing the part of a wife, but you're not one. What makes him want to marry you? My grandmother used to say, "Why buy the cow when you can get the milk free?" Anytime he wants to get some, you give it to him. Some of y'all go above and beyond giving these men this extra stuff, and they ain't even thought about putting a ring on it. Some things should be left in marriage. That's just my opinion, okay? My YouTube channel. So, um, some of y'all don't want to get married, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm talking to the ones that do, and I'm talking to the ones that is married. You know, um, I say I'm a wife, even if, and I said this in my last video, even if my husband and I separate, which we not. Hello. But even if we do, I'm still a wife. I'll still be married again because I'm a wife. See, that's a difference. And I don't mind submitting to, if I know you can lead, I don't mind submitting. But ain't no use in me submitting to you and you blind in one eye and got a telephone pole in the other. We both fall in the ditch. The blind leading the blind. No ma'am, no ham, no sandwich. Can't do it, won't do it. Can't stop, won't stop. So, and ain't no use in me lying to y'all because God know I ain't doing it, you know. And on cases like that, God does not want us to be stupid, you know. Somebody has to keep the family before God. Somebody has to be praying for the family. So I just wanted to say that and, give an explanation on submission. Basically is if there is ever a decision that need to be made, the husband has the final say on the decision. Point blank. You know, And I will say this, you actually have to get ahead of time. Sorry. You actually have to get ahead of time. Like when you first start in a relationship, however you start off, that's how it's gonna be until both of y'all change or decide to split. So if you start off letting him dog you, mistreat you, all this, and you take it just for the sake of having a man, then that's what you're gonna get. That's how it's gonna go. So you have to make your election sure. You have to, show you who you are in the beginning. Build together. Build together. When you build together, can't nothing come through that. You know, um, it's a lot. It's a lot to take within this, but I'm gonna end this live now because I really just want to come on and talk about submission, or being submitted, and so I hope Danja that answered your question, boo boo. And I want to thank you guys for liking, sharing, and subscribing to Coco 929. And I hope that I say something that really makes you think, makes you laugh, even make you cry. Sometimes we need to cry and rinse our emotions out so God can hear us. So um, that's all. That's all I wanted to say. Oh, let me say this too. Let me give an example. My husband doesn't like makeup. Well, he don't like it, of course, because he's a man, but he don't like me to wear makeup. I don't wear makeup. One, it's just not who I am. But as I get older, I want to experiment a lot. I'm beginning to um, see if that's something that I would enjoy. And so for the longest, I wouldn't even, he don't like lipstick either, y'all. He's a country boy. He believes in natural beauty. And so for the longest, I wouldn't, wear makeup or anything. And if I did, it would be eyeshadow, eyeliner, and some lip gloss. Every now and then lipstick. And he'd be like, you know. And so we came to an agreement. We agreed because he knew that was something that I really wanted to do was put something on. And he was like, okay, baby. He said, how about just wear the lip gloss? And yeah, I know you like your eyeshadows and stuff. It's not making your whole face up. Because I don't wear it real heavy. It's enough to see that I got it on. It's real light. Plus, y'all, to be honest, when I minister, I don't want people to focus on my look. I want them to see what God is seeing. Then that, again, that's just me. I ain't saying this for everybody. But, you do you. Because I know I have a goddaughter named Sherelle, and she's a makeup artist. And I mean, what she does with makeup is just phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal. And I always like, wow. And she's like, God, Mama, you need to let me make up your face one day and everything. She said, you got pretty skin and you pretty. I just want to see if I can enhance it. I'd be cracking up. I'm like, yeah, you want me to be divorced, right? Because that man ain't going for that. So, it's different. And see, my husband is 9 years older than me, okay? So I think older men, especially Southern men, they live under a different creed and code than some men. Some men want you as long as your skirt come up and your underwear come down. They don't care how you look. Can I get an amen? Walls. I'm going to say that again. Some men just want you when your skirt go up or your underwear go down. They don't care what you look like either way. But I can honestly say that my husband really does care. And I'm an extension of him. And he always say I'm the better part of him. See why I love that man. He always say you're the better part of me, you know. And I tell him, oh boo. So you know, but that's just my house. That's just me and my marriage. You have to do what's right for yours. But the only thing I'm saying about that is, y'all, just make sure that if you don't believe in God, then I ain't talking to you. So don't at me, okay? But those of y'all who claim you believe in God and He's the head of your life, you know how they testify. I don't think God who's the head of my life and all this and stuff, He's the head of your life. But I ain't going to get started. I can go in on that. But nevertheless, we all have to start somewhere. So, yeah, I got a sinus infection and right now. So that's why I got all this rattle in my throat. You hear it? My throat. So, um, but women, I'm gonna come back on, and I don't know if it's gonna be tonight or not, cause my husband's on his way home and We're having pizza in the movie. So spending that quality time. He was blessed to go back to work. I'm so happy. Um, and so he told me he had something planned for us tonight. He told me to pick the movie. He's got the pizza. And I said, okay. And it helps that we don't have no little babies, y'all. Ooh, I itch every time I say that. We have 10 kids all together. My husband has an older child. We have 10 kids. Count them, okay? 8 girls, 2 boys. 10 kids. 10 kids, 10 grandkids. Get into it. Our baby girl is 17. She is now, since they can't go back to school, come May when they do send out the grades and everything, she will be a official senior in high school. And she's 17. January should be 18. Praise be unto him that is holy. Here, we almost the empty nest. Well, we almost have no responsibility. Let me say that because my 2 sons still over here, but they work and they help around the house and all this and stuff. So I don't mind. I feel like you shouldn't push a kid out when they're not ready. I feel like why force them to leave just because they're a certain age and they're gonna turn around and may need to come back. So, and you only got that one time to come back though. We ain't gonna play musical doors or musical chairs. We ain't doing that. Sorry. But that's the rules and regulations that we came up with. So again, let me get off of here. Donja, sweetie, if you got my email address. If not, let me give it. My email address is the initials doctors. D for Dove, R for Rainbow, S for Sun, 16272002 at gmail.com. Okay? So if anybody needs to get in contact with me, that's the best way to do it. Send me an email and let me know your surname, on your real name first, and then your surname on YouTube so I know who I'm talking to, okay? All right, y'all. Y'all be blessed. Smooches.